Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Real. My name is Alex, and today we'll be talking Loki Episode 2. So, just as a head start, um, I really hope this works. Um, yeah, you're just gonna hear my voice today, so without further ado, let's get into it. So, Loki Episode 2. I really liked it. I really think that it was very well done. There's a lot to like about this. We get some insight to Mobius, Owen Wilson's character. We get to learn a little more about Loki. There's some stuff flying around about the TVA and what their purpose is. And honestly, it has a really great cliffhanger ending. There's some interesting stuff in here to really get your blood pumping, get you excited. And, well, let's get into it. So, we learn a little bit more about Mobius because he shares a scene with Loki where where Loki's trying to pick his brain to see what he really thinks about the TVA and the three-time keepers. And we learn from that conversation that it seems like Mobius kind of sees timekeepers as almost like as a religious thing, because he's what we learned from their conversation is that Mobius believes that these three timekeepers basically are these all-powerful beings who have this sacred mission, and once they complete their mission, that everything will be all fine and dandy. But of course, Loki just keeps questioning him, and he's like, well, does that really make sense though? Because if they allow all this to happen, then why do we still have variants and all this stuff? And does he really believe that there's no free will? And he even questions it because he's like, so then realistically only myself and you, aka Loki and Mobius, have free will, because they're the ones who are just actively just walking around, and everyone else is just kind of just doing a job whenever they're called upon. So I think that was a really interesting thing that was brought up. And honestly, just to fuel a theory that I have, is that I think at the end of the day that the timekeepers probably are not real, or they're no longer around, and that this is just a system that they put in place, the timekeepers themselves put in place, and it just continues even after they're gone. So, moving along again, another thing that was important that we learned was the variant Loki is attacking around timelines. Is attacking the timelines based on catastrophic apocalyptic events. And basically, the way they explain it is that since that timeline is already going to be wiped away from the beginning because it's an apocalypse, that basically, since it's going to be erased anyways, you basically can do whatever you want without disrupting the timeline, because like I just said, it's going to be erased anyways. So I think that was an interesting idea. However, I feel the way they explained it with Ragnarok, I think probably wasn't the best example. But we see them test this theory whenever Loki and Mobius visit Pompeii, and it was a fun little scene, seeing how Mobius was trying to be very careful in his approach versus Loki, who just completely went in there and just did something that I guess to someone like Mobius, who tries to do stuff by the book, was very drastic. And seeing that Loki's theory was actually correct, kind of did make me smile a little bit. So this character, I think there's a lot more to her than meets the eye so far, because so far she's very secretive. She's obviously in a high position, but I feel like there's a lot more that is surrounding this character that still has to be explained. And because we get this conversation that she has with Mobius about their missions and how she approves the missions, and how they collect trophies from the missions, and this character just keeps them. And then also at the end, whenever stuff starts going to she picks up one of the batons and she's ready for action. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with this character, because this character has ties to a different character in the comics. But of course, this is not the comics, so to a certain extent they have their own free range to do whatever they want. So I'm going to try not to get all tangled up in that. And also, another thing I noticed in this was whenever Loki was doing research, when he was reading about Ragnarok, Tom Hiddleston really showed his emotional side just in that scene whenever he's reading over the report, because there's no dialogue, there's no words, but just his facial expression whenever he reads over the file. Like, man, this guy really knows how to do it. But anyways, the thing I noticed was that that Ragnarok was classified as a level 7 catastrophe apocalypse, and later on where they end up going to Alabama, it is a level 10. So whatever happened in Alabama was way worse than what happened to Ragnarok, than what happened to Asgard during Ragnarok. So I can't even imagine what that Alabama town was in for with that hurricane, because Asgard was completely decimated. So you mean to tell me that this hurricane tsunami did more damage than Surtur whenever he just obliterated Asgard? But whatever. So anyways, the climax to this episode is whenever Loki, Mobius, and the rest of the Minutemen crew visit Alabama, and in Alabama we finally meet the variant of Loki, and it turns out to be a woman who has this plan, and we don't get to know the entire plan, but I really like the way that they built up to this, and I really like the way that they really showed the intensity, from the music to all the stakes that were introduced, Loki meeting Loki, and also them explaining that these variants can have different powers, different abilities compared to the ones that most people know in the Sacred Timeline. So seeing that this variant could possess people, and it was very interesting, and I wonder how that's gonna continue to evolve throughout the show. But anyway, so yes, Loki comes face to face with the variant. They get into a scuffle, and it was very cool to see, because they really built it up to us not really knowing who this person was until we finally get the reveal that it is basically that. I mean, we know it's Loki, but the reveal of what this Loki looks like, I think it was very well done. So also in the climax, Loki tries to come to a certain deal with this Loki, but this variant Loki refuses and puts this plan into action, where it seems like if they're bombing the Sacred Timeline to make all these Nexus events to hurt the Sacred Timeline, so it's putting more work on the TVA, more work than they can do to the TVA. So it seems like there's really nothing that they can do to stop this. So I thought it was very interesting, and of course it adds a lot of stakes, and it's a great cliffhanger, because now we don't know how they're gonna be able to fix that. But also it kind of makes you think if this is their way of creating different multiverses, or if this is what sets into motion some of the multiverse events that are still to come in the MCU. So yeah, I think it was a good way to end the episode. And of course, in the end, the Loki we know goes through the little time door with the variant Loki before Mobius can stop him. So I'm just really like the way that this episode was handled. I think they really brought it in the intensity, and the cliffhanger, they really got your attention, and they're still giving you little bits and pieces of information to keep you interested, but still making you theorize and think like they're gonna go one way. But if there's anything that we learned from the previous shows, it's to expect the unexpected, or perhaps also in this show that was early on, is to expect the expected, because that's another thing that I really enjoyed from the show, was little things like at the beginning, whenever Loki is whenever they're at the Renfest and he's investigating the crime scene, it seems like basically what he said in that scene is kind of like what ended up happening in this episode. So I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. It was a really good episode. I can't wait to see what they do next, and I hope you continue to watch Loki. We'll be here. I'll be doing an episode like this every week, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed Loki, and yeah, be sure to stick around, and yeah, talk to you soon. My name's Alex. This is Beyond the Real, and we'll see you later. All right, bye.